Listen, if you're planning to make Hijrah, these hard lessons cost me years. They might save you everything. Some people might think moving abroad is all palm trees, roses, floating people, and peace. But most people don't talk about the culture shock, the scams, the identity crisis, or the silent financial pressure that can break you. Alhamdulillah, I lived this life for over 23 years across different countries, cultures, and stages of Iman. In this video, we discuss some of the things you need to know before making the journey. Number one, learn the culture. Even though we all are Muslims, there are certain things in society that are culturally acceptable within Islam, but we don't understand them. For example, some people don't mind if you enter the home with your shoes. In other cultures, you must take your shoes off even if you're viewing an apartment that you wanted to rent and nobody lives there. In some cultures, you can point your finger at something, and in some cultures, you have to use your thumb to point. Some people expect you to know the basic things about the culture before you enter into society. And many times people will look at you and say, okay, they're a foreigner, they'll give you a pass. But in many cases, some people might harbor something in their heart and how you're dealing with them. To understand these cultural nuances, either you should talk to someone that's there on the ground in the country you plan to visit, or somebody that's actually from the country living in your home country. Some of us have this we all Muslim mentality, but in reality, we bring along cultural baggage just like other people bring along cultural baggage. So we have to understand one another in order to have the best experience living in someone's country. Also, we should understand that this is their country. These are their people. So you have to go into a place respecting everyone's cultural boundaries. Number two, know the landscape. It's extremely important to understand the seasons that each place has. You'll be surprised. In some countries, the seasons are even different. So winter in this place is not like winter in another place. Some countries have the full 4 seasons that you're used to or you may be used to. In desert climates, it just gets colder in the winter, or what they call the winter, and hot in the summer. Not only that, you may be used to greenery and beautiful parks, picturesque landscapes. But in some countries that doesn't exist. The beauty in their country is the desert, the sand. It's very important to understand the landscape of where you're going. The best way to do that is first to study, is to see what type of weather it has, to look at the climate, and then also to visit the country and see, is this a place that you can live? If you're not aware completely of the whole cycle of seasons in that country, that can actually force you out. And that's exactly what happened to us. When we moved to Kazakhstan, we were not prepared. Even though I personally grew up in a city that had harsh winters, I wasn't prepared for the winters there in Nur Sultan. And also, I wasn't aware of what the climate was like in other cities within Kazakhstan that may have milder winters. You have to be aware and understand this before moving to a new country. Number 3, keep your guards up. When moving to a new country, you shouldn't totally let your guards down. And if you didn't have your guards up before, you need to learn how to put your guards up. What I mean by this is that you can't just think everybody's an innocent, trusting person. Always think about who you're dealing with. If you don't know the person, that means you can't trust them fully. But it doesn't mean that you walk around rude or arrogant. It just means that you're aware and your senses are heightened to possible scams or possible things that can cause you harm. Number 4, know who you are. When moving to a new country, people already have preconceived notions of what people are like from that particular country. Many people in Muslim countries think that Americans, most of them are rich, or you have more money than they have. So in my case, I'm from the USA. I'm an American. People see you as an opportunity, whether that's a genuine opportunity, let me offer you some services that you can pay for, or it's an opportunity to take advantage of you. For example, if you're coming through the airport and somebody takes your bags, they may say, can you give me a tip? And when you give them a tip, a lot of times you may not have the local currency. So you give them $5 or $10. What you've done is just given them a full 2 or 3 days worth of work salary. And if that doesn't bother you, it's okay. But understand that they are expecting you to give something, even if you didn't ask for them to help you. And that doesn't happen in all places, but you have to understand who you are when you come to a place. It doesn't make you arrogant. It doesn't mean that you're better than someone else. You just have to understand who you are in the light of the people's mind. Sometimes who you are works in your favor. A lot of people believe that if you are from a country like America, for example, that your education and your experience is much more than theirs, even if they have a high degree. But you're coming from America, so by default, you are better at the job. This can also work in your advantage if you are looking for business opportunities, because people may think because you're American, you have access to the market, which means that they have something they want to sell internationally, for example, and you can be the key to that market. These open up opportunities for you, and it could be a disadvantage if people think that you're a walking ATM. So you have to know who you are in that society and how people view you in the society. Number 5, know your value in the marketplace. There are many cases where foreigners have undervalued themselves and entered into the job market at the lowest rates possible. At the end of the day, this is a business. They're looking to get the most for the cheapest price. If you don't know your value, then it's possible that due to desperation, you're willing to take the lowest possible price and deeply undervalue yourself. To avoid this, you have to find out what is the market rate. What are people paying? What are people getting? Do research before taking on any type of employment or any type of contracts. You're a unique case. You're someone who's come from miles away from a different country, and in their eyes, a more developed and advanced country to work in their country. So obviously, you're not going to come and take the local salary. So you have to understand that and don't feel guilty about that. When I was working for an educational consultant company in Egypt, we negotiated a salary that was even more than the general manager of the company. Many of the people that worked in that office were doctors. Some of them were former government employees. And people that used to give out our salaries used to look, and we were making sometimes 10 times more than the people in the office. By understanding how they see you, you're able to negotiate at a higher level, and you're able to negotiate with knowledge of what you bring to the table. Number 6, know the market. When talking about knowing and understanding the market, it means that you understand what the prices are. You can't think of milk in your country costing $5 and expect milk to cost $5 in the country that you're moving to. And sometimes that takes you to go to different stores, different supermarkets to understand what the prices actually are. When I went to Malaysia to visit, I ended up in some high-end supermarket, maybe organic fruits and vegetables, and I found the prices to be crazy. And that's because I based my judgment of the prices in the wrong place where I wouldn't even shop. So you have to go to more than one place. You have to ask people on the ground how they shop, how much they spend per month. So you have to see where you fit in the puzzle. I'll give you another example of this. When I went to the mall to buy some Skechers, I like to slip on shoes, something easy to take off if you're going to the masjid or something like that. You don't have to tie it up. When I looked at the prices, they were like into the $150 for a pair of Skechers. It's because of the premium pricing that a person can end up paying 3-4 times more for a brand instead of looking at the local brands. You have to understand the market and the difference. Things that are produced locally in that country may be a lot cheaper than things that are imported from another country. Number 7, nothing is set. So what do I mean by nothing is set? When I first came to Egypt, I needed furniture. I met somebody at the center that I went to, the Arabic Center. He knew that I can go down to a place called Altaba in Cairo and buy furniture. So he told me right then, he said, listen, you can always negotiate. Nothing is set. That was a valuable piece of advice, because if you go to any store that's established, the price is on the thing and that's it. And that's what we're used to from where we come from. If it costs this, that's what it is. But what you'll find in many places in the Muslim world is that you can actually negotiate. So when we went down to Ataba to look at the furniture choices, I started to talk them down. And it was working. It was working so good that they would even get angry at me. And then when I walk out the place, and they're like, I don't want to buy it, they'll come chasing and say, come on, Tyler. Whether it is products or services, always try to negotiate. Number 8, choose your battles. This one is dedicated to the more aggressive people. And I can say that I'm a little bit aggressive. I'm not totally aggressive. People that have short tempers, people that want to argue and fight. Choose your battles, because it can be one situation that gets you deported out of the country. In some cases, people deserve all the smoke. In other cases, you need to back off. Just back up a little bit. Think about it. Calm down. Go the other way, because you can be deported over 5 cents or something like that. They ask, how much you pay for that? Oh, I paid this. And they say, oh, they overcharged you. And then you go back, you angry, asking for your money back and this, that, but not realizing that you're creating this big argument and you're risking your whole future in a place over 5 cents. The best thing you can do in those cases is write it up as sadaqah and never deal with that person again. Deal with a different person. Understand what the prices are so nobody can take advantage of you. It goes back to an earlier point, which is learning the market. Choose your battles wisely, because it can be the difference between remaining in a place or going through jail or even deportation. Number 9, know what you don't know. Many times we are exposed to a little bit of knowledge, Islamic knowledge. And that little bit of knowledge makes us believe that we know the whole thing. And the problem is, many of us don't know how to learn. We have to choose who we decide to take our knowledge from and trust that this person is giving us the most authentic information. At the same time, we have to understand that there are matters where scholars have differed and people have taken on different viewpoints. When we were in the Arabic Center, there was a teacher that came to apply. Later, we came to find out who this person was, and he used to tell a story about the students questioning the lessons, not questioning this way in a humble way, but questioning as if the sheikh was wrong. So this particular sheikh, he was known for just telling you straight, just telling you, man, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about, And at the same time, rather than that being a sense that he's arrogant, we should take it as, wait a minute, we should assess ourselves, audit yourself, and realize that this man right here knows this like the back of his hand. And I'm just learning, so how can I question based on something I heard from here or there? Know what you don't know and be an expert in knowing what you don't know. And that's how you're going to benefit the most. And that's how you won't waste time when you're learning and trying to study. And that goes for anything, whether it's Islamic knowledge or even secular knowledge. If you know the person in front of you is a master in that subject, then you need to be quiet and learn. Learn to be a learner, and then learn when you should be a teacher. Number 10, get your finances in order. It's extremely important to understand how you're going to deal with finances. And that's for both men and women. For men that have a family and have to take care of their family, it's essential that you understand how you're going to finance your hijrah. Of course, Allah is going to provide for us. Of course, we're going to get it no matter where we are. But at the same time, you have to plan. And it doesn't mean that your plan is going to be a success. Allah can give you success, or he can test you with wealth or test you by taking wealth away. Your job is to prepare as much as you can financially and taking most opportunities into consideration, if not all opportunities into consideration that Allah presents to you. Consult the people that preceded you. Whenever we go visit a country, we sit down with people that have 10 years plus of living in that place. And we ask them, what were the challenges? What are the benefits? Tell us about the people. Tell us about employment opportunities, business opportunities. A simple consultation can save you time and hardship. And it is something that Islam teaches us. Don't think that you know it all. Don't think that you know enough. Always ask. Even if you talk to one person, ask a second person. And if there's a third person available, ask a third person. And if there's a fourth person available, talk to the fourth person. I would like to learn the lesson that you learned so that I can avoid it myself. So always consult people that preceded you. And Make Hijrah, we're always trying to give everyone an advantage that we didn't have when we first made Hijrah. It was a long lesson to learn. Alhamdulillah, I think that we have some things covered better than we used to. For this reason, we're always trying to create services and products to help the Hijrah community. It's for this reason we put together a product called the Hijrah Blueprint. We brought together a group of muhajirun as instructors, and they all have expertise in the subjects that they're discussing. To learn more about the Hijrah Blueprint, go to makehijrah.com/blueprint. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.